All right, this is a hard solving rational equations problem. If you are on regular level Algebra 2, this is probably as hard as it gets. If you are doing advanced Algebra 2 or honors or something like that, it could get a little harder. But I know where I teach, like this is about as hard as it gets for the regular kids. So the reason why it is more difficult is because before we can jump in to the least common denominator, we need to factor the bottom. Okay, the reason why I know this bottom denominator can factor is because it has x squared trinomial. Not always is that going to be the case, but most quadratic trinomials factor. If you do not know how to factor, you'll have to reference one of my factoring videos. So I'm going to rewrite the 5. Because of x squared, we're going to have 2 parentheses. X squared, the only way to get x squared is x times x. These two slots need to multiply to give you 12 and add to give you negative 7. So these two numbers are going to be minus 3, minus 4. Order here, because they're both minuses, does not matter. Equals x minus 3, x minus 4, both here. Neither one of them factor. There's no squared. There's no greatest common factor or GCF. So we can just rewrite 2, x minus 3, 5, x minus 4. Okay, so now that we've factored, now we can do the least common denominator. This one has x minus 3, x minus 4. This one just has x minus 3. This one just has x minus 4. So the least common denominator is going to be x minus 3, x minus 4. Reference my least common denominator video if you're confused how we got this. All right, so next step is going to be to multiply everything by the least common denominator. To save some paper, I'm going to just do it above. If that's confusing for you, you can use another line. So I'm going to take this whole thing, put it in huge parentheses. Sometimes brackets come in handy for these things. And we're going to multiply by x minus 3, x minus 4, all the numerators. Again, a little bit off the page, but you get the idea. So we're going to do a big distribute all the way over here, all the way here, and here. Okay, so what this is going to look like, it's going to be messy. Okay, we'll clean it up, I promise. We're going to have 5, x minus 3, x minus 4, over x minus 3, x minus 4. When we're multiplying, we're just multiplying the numerators. This is basically like over 1. Numerator or denominator does not change. This equals 2, x minus 3, x minus 4, over x minus 3, plus 5, x minus 3, x minus 4, over x minus 4. All right. So step 1, least common denominator. Step 2, multiply by the least common denominator. Now we're going to simplify each individual fraction. So this first fraction, we have x minus 3 in top and bottom, so those eliminate. X minus 3 over x minus 3 is kind of like a 1. Okay, x minus 4 over x minus 4 eliminates. Next fraction, we've got x minus 3 over x minus 3 eliminates. Last fraction, x minus 4 over x minus 4 eliminates. So all of this craziness actually doesn't turn out to be too bad. We're left with 5 equals 2 parentheses x minus 4 plus 5 parentheses x minus 3. I'm going to speed up the video and solve this pretty fast because this is an Algebra 1 solving equations problem, and you should be pretty comfortable with that if you're doing this kind of problem. So here we go. Okay, after some algebra, we end up with x equals 4. We still need to check to see if it's an extraneous solution or not, and so we take this 4 and we plug it into the original. So I've got 5 over 4 squared minus 7 times 4 plus 12 equals, with a question mark, 2 over 4 minus 3 plus 5 over 4 minus 4. Let me skip that over a little bit. All right, so here we've got 5 over. If you do 4 squared minus 7 times 4 plus 12, I would just recommend using your calculator. You would get 0. Equals, with a question mark, 2 over 1, 4 minus 3 is 1, plus 5 over 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. Because we have zeros in the denominator, this is an extraneous solution. You are not allowed to have zeros in the denominator. Your calculator will give you an error message, and so we know that x equals 4 is an extraneous solution. And that's it.